Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I vlog daily to keep you updated on the real-life situation in my country during this awful war with Russia, and we have to win and you have to see it, and I'm really grateful for the support that you give, because together with the allies we are definitely going to win over Putin and Russia, because it is not just the Putin's war but also the Russian war, as he is the product of their society. Today, I want to speak a little bit about the interview that General Zaluzhny, the head of the Ukrainian armed forces, gave to The Economist. And I think, first of all, this is a huge honor, and it is really important that so many influential sources of media take interviews from the president of Ukraine, from Zaluzhny, who is the head of the Ukrainian armed forces, because with the help of such platforms, Ukrainian voice is heard better. I am a huge fan of Zaluzhny, and to tell you the truth, he is more popular in Ukraine than President Zelensky, because he is the one doing all the job. And also I am his fan because he was not a part of the Soviet army. He is pretty young as for the head of the Ukrainian armed forces, and even for being general. He's 48 or 49 years old, and it is pretty young for the Ukrainian army. And he did not have experience of serving in Soviet Union, so he does not have all of that evil traditions that are still spread in Russian org troops, like Dedovshchina, like hatred, like when you obey without questioning at all, and so on and so forth. So I think we are really lucky that President Zelensky chose Zaluzhny, and that Zaluzhny is the head of the Ukrainian armed forces during this war. So in that interview, he spoke as a very wise man, and he did not underestimate the enemy. Today, Russia continues its mobilization, and we cannot say that it is 100% unsuccessful. Of course, there are many protests in Russian society, but we all know how active Russians in protesting. And they have collected a serious, huge reserve. Now they are preparing 200,000 soldiers, and in general, according to this approximate estimates in Russia, they have a reserve of 1.2, 1.5 million people to fight in Ukraine, and that is a lot. Once again, we may be more experienced, we may be stronger, we protect our motherland, but they have millions of people they don't care about. When asked about Surovkin, who is now the head of the org troops in Russia, he said one phrase that I want to quote, and I think it's very good. It is a very good phrase to describe what is going on in Russian military sphere. He said that he is just the same as every head of army in Russia since the times of Tsar Pyotr I. Why? Because he wants to have this total control and total disrespect to people who are behind him. And this hierarchy, which is so visible in Russian politics, is even stronger in Russian army, where they don't care about human life and human dignity. And I'm not talking about Ukrainians, whom they consider enemies. I'm also speaking about Russians. Many generals who fought with Russia, foreign generals who fought with Russia during the last centuries, write in their memoirs, say in their interviews that they are always surprised how Russians do not care about the life of their own people, of their own soldiers, that they are ready to sacrifice hundreds and thousands of them for the sake of, I don't know, a medal, a particular date that they want to mark with a victory, or anything that today, for example, Putin wants. And I totally support Zaluzhny in his vision right here. That's why, from one point of view, we are fighting with people who are zombies. That's why they picked that letter for the special military operation. But also, this is like a plus and a minus. From one point of view, zombies are stupid, dumb, hungry, angry, but from the other point of view, they don't care about anything, so they are dangerous. Also, taking into account this huge mobilization, we have to expect that Russia will try to attack us for the second, the third, or the fourth time, and Kyiv can be a target too. Of course, we are prepared, but this may be a dangerous time, maybe not during winter, maybe in spring. And the problem is that after failing Blitzkrieg, Surovkin tries to persuade Putin that the only way to succeed in this war is to make it a war for years. This is definitely something that we don't want, and it's extremely good that we were not pushed at the table of the negotiations with Russians at the beginning of this war, but they definitely won this short-term peace, not to achieve peace, not to start negotiate and rebuild something, but they need this months of peace, for example, to rebuild some things, to refill their weapons, to mobilize more people. It is just for them getting more strength, and we don't need that. That's why it is important not to stop in this war until we actually win. Another problem is that sanctions, of course, they work, but Russians are ready to be cold, to be hungry. This is very typical for the nation. And now Putin switches all of the production into military field, and they continue producing weapons for artillery, missiles, and all of that things. So now the military industry is working in Russia, and in Ukraine we don't have military industry. We don't have plants that can make us as many weapons as we need. That's why we are super dependent on the support of our allies, and we are very grateful for that. But maybe it sounds like bad, and it's very Ukrainian already, but every time we receive something, we say we need more. Why? Because Russia is huge. They have lots of weapons left from the Soviet times. They have inherited it. They have stolen, they have bought, they have taken out in various legal and illegal ways lots of Ukrainian Soviet weapons. So we don't have anything, and they also have plants and factories that they now use to produce new weapons. That's why we so much depend on the support of your governments and your countries. Recently, we had this super great news that patriots are coming to Ukraine, and we are super grateful for that, because this means that we have more chances for successful counter-offensive. And this is very important because like when you fight actively, when you conduct such successful operations like Kherson, it goes without saying that you use the weapons that your allies give you, and sooner or later you run out of them. And that is why we are very grateful for the fact that we will receive patriots. Maybe other countries will like refill our HIMARS and other stuff need for us to be able to perform counter-offensive. What is also good that Zaluzhny says that he has a plan for a very serious operation, a larger scale one, to take back more of Ukrainian territories. But once again, we need weapons for that. He even numbered, like he said, what he needs exactly to be able to return to the borders that we had before the start of this war, before the 23rd of February. And it sounds like very simple: 300 tanks, 700 machines, fighter machines, and 500 howitzer, if I'm not mistaken in the pronunciation of this kind of weapon. So this is what he needs, and he promises that if he gets that, he's able to reach the borders we had before this large-scale war with Russia. And well, in general, inside Ukraine, many people were very anxious reading this interview, because Zaluzhny does not promise us victory before Christmas, and he says that another attack on Kyiv is possible. But as a smart reader, I do understand that he speaks about all possibilities, and we have to be prepared. But he does not speak about the plans of Ukrainian armed forces, just mentioning that we have a lot. And with the support that your countries demonstrate, we will be able to regain our territories, and most importantly, to stop Putin, and then to work with Russian society, because it is not just brainwashed, it is already toxic, and that can be dangerous. Just like, believe me, Russians are no less dangerous than a nuclear bomb. So anyway, thank you for the support that you demonstrate to my country. Thank you for buying me coffees, sending me coffee recipes, becoming my patrons. I'm really grateful for that. Also, I'm very grateful to those people who agreed to proofread my article. And thank you very much for being with us. This means a lot. And like All Ukrainians, if you ask a Ukrainian what is in his or her wish list, that will be HIMARS, Patriots, and other stuff, because we understand that is an element of our peace, a necessary element of our peace that comes only after victory. Slava Ukraini!